Good afternoon, everybody. Paula Ebben here in the WBZ studio with our political analyst John Keller to talk about the president's speech this afternoon at Manchester Community College. He's back in New Hampshire talking about the opioid crisis, which helped him make a lot of hay during the campaign, especially in places like New Hampshire, where he appeared to be the only candidate to acknowledge it so openly. He started off talking about how we got to get tough on drug dealers, got to get tough on this whole issue, mentioning the death penalty several times. What did you think?
Well, it was sad, really. And the reason it was sad is that the problem is serious. It is traumatic. I don't think there's anyone who has any sympathy for the big-time drug traffickers and what they're doing to our people, okay? I personally am for the death penalty. But this speech was mainly a waste of time. It was a waste of time in a couple of different ways, Paula. He's throwing out, first of all, he contradicted in a couple of areas what his own people had briefed reporters about what is in this new plan yesterday. He talked about how they're going to go after a wider range of drug trafficking offenders. No, that's not what his own people have been saying. So I don't think he really even understands his own policy. But when you're talking about scaring kids straight by running scary TV commercials.
We've seen this movie before.
This is your brain, this is your brain on drugs. We went through that, and that was all very well-meaning, but study after study has shown those ads don't work.
The war on drugs has not worked.
So now we're going to spend a ton of money on opioid ads? No, that wasn't very inspiring.
He also, what will perk up a lot of people's ears around here, of course, he was in New Hampshire, but he mentioned several times he tried to link the opioid crisis to sanctuary cities and specifically called out Lawrence, Massachusetts, and Boston. He said people around the country see this and hear about sanctuary cities, and they just don't get it. Do you think that's an effective tool for him to use to sort of get the base? You know, his base is really angry. They really don't like to hear that some mayors, some cities tolerate
absolutely
not going after, not calling ICE agents.
It's an effective political issue. I think it was his ace in the hole during the campaign, and I think it's still very effective. A lot of people are confused about why cities would go out of their way to protect criminal behavior. Of course, the issue is, of course, more complicated than that. But listen, Lawrence has big-time problems. I don't think there's any question about that.
He did call up an ICE agent who he says broke up a drug ring in Lawrence.
Right. But there's arguably an offender in terms of facilitating the flow of opioids and the overabundance of opioids, who's as culpable, if not more so, than foreign drug traffickers. And that would be some of the major pharmaceutical companies. Paula, remember the 60 Minutes piece just a few months ago, where we learned that the DEA, and this dates back to the late stages of the Obama administration, had been handcuffed in its ability to restrain big-time drug distributors.
And he did mention the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, he did, and he said something about the effect of the Justice Department is looking at major litigation. Well, in the meantime, you may remember this. He tried to appoint as the national drug czar this congressman from Pennsylvania who was the front man for the drug distribution companies on Capitol Hill. And when the 60 Minutes story exploded, they rescinded his appointment. They still haven't filled the position. That speaks to an unseriousness about actually enacting policies that sound good on paper and sound good in a speech in front of a group of supporters. But if there's no follow-through, what use is it?
He said very clearly that he's going to stop the opioid crisis. We will raise a drug-free generation. And he said, which I thought was interesting, I don't want to be here for 7 years if we're not going to solve this. Do you think this is one issue where voters are really going to call him out if they don't see any progress on the national level?
I think it could be. And, in the meantime, pretty much everyone agrees that you need that right now to help stem the crisis, help drop the casualty numbers. We need more treatment. We need drug treatment. We need recovery centers. in New Hampshire, the major provider of drug treatment programs, Hope for Recovery, they're called, recently had to close 4 of their 5 treatment centers because of a lack of funding, both state and federal. So put your money where your mouth is, I think, is going to be the response from people. And if, in the meantime, they're trying to gut Obamacare, warts and all, Obamacare is and Medicare are the major providers of these kind of treatment services. So, again, there's a disconnect between the political rhetoric, some of which is quite appealing, no doubt about it.
People do like to hear him give voice to a lot of
when there's a crisis, you want your president.
But then you got to follow it up with action.
Yeah, or else it's just a bunch of hot air. And frankly, today was just a bunch of hot air.
You can watch for more of John's analysis and coverage of the president's visit to New Hampshire on WBZ News beginning at 5, and of course, anytime on CBSBoston.com. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching.